Hola, ¿cómo están todos? Bienvenido a mi casa. Hoy tenemos la clase de español en mi casa y ustedes están en sus casas. Como normal, empezamos con el verso del mes, el verso de la Biblia de abril. Aquí tengo el verso. Dícele Jesús: yo soy la resurrección y la vida. El que cree en mí, aunque esté muerto, vivirá. Y todo aquel que vive y cree en mí, no morirá eternamente. ¿Crees esto? Juan 11, 25 y 26. Ahora, repitan todos. Dícele Jesús: yo soy la resurrección y la vida. Y ahora ustedes. El que cree en mí, aunque esté muerto, vivirá. Y todo aquel que vive y cree en mí, no morirá eternamente. ¿Crees esto? Ahora ustedes. Juan 11, 25, 26. ¿Y ustedes? Este es el verso de abril. Okay, as usual, if you guys memorize the Spanish verse of the month, at the end of April, if you are able to videotape yourself saying the verse without using your notes, when I mail your tests and your paragraphs home to you, there will be a prize for anyone that sends me that video saying the Bible verse of April. So you'll have a couple of weeks to do that. As long as you do it by April 30th, and remember, no cheating, you'll get a prize in that packet that arrives at your house once we're totally finished with the semester. So for class today, we're going to go in the same order that we would if we were normally in the classroom. So I'm going to start out with a few announcements. The first thing I have is the exam that you took just before spring break. I noticed that the take-home exam using notes seems to be very successful because we had 8 people that got either 90 to 100% or even a few people that got over 100%. So great job on that, and that's how we'll do our next test at home. Just in case you were worried, since we don't have actual class time, your next test will be mostly choosing the right answer, multiple choice, or matching. I won't have you produce any verb conjugations or sentences because I don't feel that that would be fair since we don't have class in the classroom. So the first thing I wanted to mention was the test. Good job on that, and I will combine that test score with the next test that you take in a couple of weeks at home. The next item that I wanted to go over are the paragraphs that you've been sending me. So just before spring break, I had a lot of people choose to either write a paragraph using the future verb tense about a trip that they may take in the future to Chicago, if they were going to Chicago for a weekend, and what kind of activities they would be doing there. Some people chose to write that paragraph in Spanish. Other people chose to watch a video dubbed in Spanish and write a paragraph about that experience in English. So I'm going to start out by reading a couple of examples. The first one is Kristen Hawk, and she chose to do the Spanish paragraph about a trip to Chicago. So Kristen said, mi familia y yo estamos pasando el fin de semana en Chicago. Tomaremos el tren y nos quedaremos en un hotel alto. Tomaremos fotos delante del frijol. Probablemente comeremos en Oriol. Es un restaurante muy caro. Tendremos que vestirnos en ropa elegante. Comeré el pan de leche japonés. No sé qué es, pero suena delicioso. Probablemente pediré postre también. Veremos el Museo de Historia en Chicago. A mi madre le encanta estudiar sobre la historia y enseñarme. Veremos el Museo de Arte Contemporáneo. El arte es muy bonito para mirar. Me gustaría ver el arte allí. A mis hermanas les gustará verlo también. Iremos a un partido de béisbol Chicago Cubs. Mi padre vivía en Chicago y adora los Cubs. Mi familia y yo queremos ver el béisbol. Probablemente comeremos palomitas y salchichas. Mi primo segundo trabaja para los Chicago Cubs. Lo visitaremos mientras estemos allí. Nos divertimos mucho como familia en Chicago. So great job on that, Kristen. Really good use of those future tense verbs. You guys probably heard a lot of examples of the nosotros form and also the yo form. So good job on that, Kristen. And a few other people did the Chicago paragraph. Keep working on that future tense. We'll practice it a little bit more today because we continue to study the future tense in Unit 4. A few people chose to use this opportunity to watch a video dubbed in Spanish, and I had a lot of different videos that people watched. Something about Escape to something mountain. Can't remember the title of that one. The Incredibles, Mulan. So a lot of videos. It seemed like the people that had the best experience watched a movie that they had already seen in English and instead just dubbed it over in Spanish. What most of you commented on was that when you put the subtitles at the bottom of the screen and you listen to the Spanish at the same time, you notice that the subtitles were different sometimes from what you're hearing. And that's pretty common because a lot of the time the people that do the subtitles would be somebody different than the person doing the voices for the video. So that's an explanation of that. I think Reagan probably had the most enjoyable experience watching a video dubbed in Spanish, although I think Peyton had a pretty good experience too when he watched Mulan. Most of you said it was kind of confusing watching movies that you hadn't seen before, and that totally makes sense. So if you do it again, watch something you're more familiar with. Reagan watched The Incredibles in Spanish, and she says, "My experience watching The Incredibles in Spanish was amazing. I could understand almost all of it. I put Spanish subtitles so I could read in Spanish as well, and that made it a lot easier. They spoke really fast, so it was a little hard to understand, but I could usually catch on pretty quick. The spelling and definitions of some words I didn't understand because it was a different version of Spanish. They said some of the following words: sí, rápido, no, ¿qué es esto? And aquí, a lot. Sometimes their mouths would say something different than what the words on the screen said, but I think that is because the movie was originally made in English. Overall, I really enjoyed my Spanish movie experience and would recommend watching cartoons in Spanish to all Spanish students. This was a very fun thing to do. It helps visualize Spanish words and helps you understand Spanish better." So I had quite a few people that did that activity. If you haven't done that yet for the year, don't worry, there's one more paragraph assignment, and you can do that for the last paragraph assignment of the year if you would like to. The Incredibles was a really good one for Reagan. Peyton enjoyed Mulan. I believe that students in the past who have watched Tangled said that was a really fun one to watch in Spanish. Make sure that you get something that you can watch for free on Netflix or Prime or whatever you're using right now, and just choose the Spanish voiceover and the Spanish subtitles for that if you decide to do that. Okay, the last piece of business to review are the Spanish tapas recipes that you followed and made at home. I had a lot of great pictures and a lot of really well done paragraphs. Lily DeBaba was the only one who did not know that you got to write this paragraph in English. So Lily not only made spicy almonds, but she wrote an entire paragraph in Spanish. So good for you, Lily. Good job. You didn't have to work that hard, but I enjoyed reading it either way. It seems like the most popular recipe was the patatas bravas, and a few people did make the sauce. It was a little bit spicy, so some people chose to eliminate some of the spicy ingredients. Other popular recipes that were made was the pan con tomate, which I think Kristen made, and Bridget made a few of her own recipes that she must have found online. So I shared all of those pictures with you. Great job, you guys. Here is, in fact, Bridget's paragraph, so you can all hear about Bridget's experience. Bridget says, "I made 2 different tapas this week. I made patatas bravas and manchego skewers. They were each delicious in their own special ways. Patatas bravas are fried potatoes with a spicy sauce. My littlest sister loved the shape way more than traditional French fries. She ate way more of the patatas bravas than she would have if they were French fries. For the spicy sauce, I made a spicy ketchup with 2 parts ketchup, 1 part hot sauce, and a dash of cumin. My brother and dad really liked that sauce, whereas my mom preferred the garlic aioli she made for her potatoes. My younger sisters, not being adventurous eaters, just used ketchup. The manchego skewers were really easy and fun to make. Each skewer had some manchego cheese, half an olive, and some ham on it. The recipe called for chorizo, but I didn't have any, so I had to improvise. They were really good, although my little sisters didn't like them very much. I would definitely consider making tapas again. They are perfect for parties, small snacks, or any other event. I wish I had made a dish with shrimp, but I didn't get the chance to. There are so many recipes I haven't tried, and I would definitely make the recipes I made again. So if you didn't get a chance to experiment a lot, once we are all able to get out and about again, I would encourage you to make any of those recipes that I sent to you, or even just look online for Spanish tapas recipes. You can find a lot of them written in English. If you want to challenge yourself, you can even look for some written in Spanish. Okay, so the next thing we would normally do in class would be our warm-up. So this is the point where you need to make sure that you have a pen or pencil and a piece of paper. The plan for our warm-up is a sort of how-to. So the way this will work is I will read various steps telling you how to do something. And on your paper, which you should number from 1 to 10, you will write how to in English and then finish that off once I'm done giving the description. So for example, I would say something like this. Encuentre un libro. Abra el libro. Lea el libro. After hearing that set of instructions, it would probably occur to you that I was describing how to read a book. I literally said, find a book, open the book, read the book. So I have a series of 10 warm-ups for you guys, and I'll be using the usted form of our mandatos, or our commands. And remember, to form the usted commands, you go to the yo form of the normal present, and you use the opposite vowel, is what we said in class. So if it's an ER or an IR verb, you're going to hear an A sound at the end of the sentence, or A. And if it's an AR verb, you're going to hear the E sound at the end of the sentence. Okay, so hopefully you're all ready and you have your papers numbered from 1 to 10. Most of these descriptions, these how-tos, have only 3 steps, but a few of them have up to 6. So listen carefully. I'll repeat each how-to twice and then move on to the next one. Don't worry, at the very end, I will give you the answers so that you can just self-grade yourselves and know how you've done so far on the warm-up. So, número 1. Ponga 2 pedazos de pan sobre un plato. Ponga jamón y queso sobre uno de los pedazos de pan. Ponga el segundo pedazo sobre el jamón y queso. Okay. Número 1, otra vez. Ponga 2 pedazos de pan sobre un plato. Ponga jamón y queso sobre uno de los pedazos de pan. Ponga el segundo pedazo sobre el jamón y queso. Okay. Muy bien. Número 2. Cocine una taza de agua muy caliente. Ponga té en la taza. Espere 4 minutos. Número 2, otra vez. Cocine una taza de agua muy caliente. Ponga té en la taza. Espere 4 minutos. Número 3. Ponga un perro en la bañera. Moje el perro con agua de buena temperatura. Ponga champú en el perro. Moje el perro otra vez con agua de buena temperatura hasta que no haya champú. Seque el perro. Número 3, otra vez. Ponga un perro en la bañera. Moje el perro con agua de buena temperatura. Ponga champú en el perro. Moje el perro con agua de buena temperatura otra vez, hasta que no haya champú. Seque el perro. Número 4. Haga todo el trabajo de Rosetta Stone en la computadora. Escriba todas las actividades de la lección en el cuaderno. Estudie la gramática, el vocabulario y las lecciones de cultura. Memorice el verso del mes de la Biblia. Estudie o practique con un amigo o hermano. Número 4, otra vez. Haga todo del trabajo de Rosetta Stone en la computadora. Escriba todas las actividades de la lección en el cuaderno. Estudie la gramática, el vocabulario y las lecciones de cultura. Memorice el verso del mes de la Biblia. Estudie o practique con un amigo o un hermano. Número 5. Ponga las sábanas limpias en la cama. Ponga la frazada limpia en la cama. Ponga la almohada en la cama. Número 5 otra vez. Ponga las sábanas limpias en la cama. Ponga la frazada limpia en la cama. Ponga la almohada en la cama. Número 6. Ponga un tazón en la mesa. Ponga los cereales en el tazón. Ponga la leche sobre los cereales y coma todo con una cuchara. Número 6, otra vez. Ponga un tazón en la mesa. Ponga los cereales en el tazón. Ponga la leche sobre los cereales y coma todo con una cuchara. Número 7. Camine al lavabo. Mójese las manos con agua. Ponga jabón sobre las manos. Mójese las manos otra vez hasta que no haya más jabón. Seque las manos. Número 7, otra vez. Camine al lavabo. Mójese las manos con agua. Ponga jabón sobre las manos. Mójese las manos otra vez hasta que no haya más jabón. Seque las manos. Número 8. Vaya a su dormitorio. Descanse en la cama. Levántese en 1 hora. Número 8. Otra vez. Vaya a su dormitorio. Descanse en la cama y levántese en 1 hora. Número 9. Póngase los calcetines y zapatos. Abra la puerta. Salga de la puerta y cierre la puerta. Camine 1 o 2 kilómetros de su casa. Regrese a su casa. Y número 9 otra vez. Póngase los calcetines y zapatos. Abra la puerta. Salga de la puerta y cierre la puerta. Camine 1 o 2 kilómetros de su casa. Regrese a su casa. Y finalmente el último, número 10. Maneje a McDonald's. Pida una hamburguesa, papas fritas y una Coca-Cola. Pague por la comida. Coma todo en el carro. Otra vez, número 10. Maneje a McDonald's. Pida una hamburguesa, papas fritas y una Coca-Cola. Pague por la comida y coma todo en el carro. Okay, that was a lot of listening, and you heard a lot of examples of formal commands, so using the usted form. So this is if you were to be bossing around, say, your doctor or someone older than you or someone who is professional, you'd be using the usted command form. You have seen that this week in the grammar handout that I emailed to you just a few days ago. So the answers to our listening comprehension how-tos are, number 1, how to make a ham and cheese sandwich. Number 2, how to make tea. Number 3, how to wash a dog. Number 4, how to study for your Spanish test. 5, how to make a bed. 6, how to make cereal for your breakfast. 7, how to wash your hands. 8, how to take a nap. 9, how to take a walk. And finally, number 10, how to eat fast food in your car. So that's all I have for our warm-up. Next, for our usual class time, we have a couple of vocabulary games. So this week on Rosetta Stone, you saw several examples of different buildings where people worship. And of course, a lot of those religions have buildings all over the entire world. In this next game, I am going to give either a religious building or some other noun, most of them proper nouns or famous locations. And I would like you to number your paper from 1 to 10 and write the name of the country where you are most likely to find the item that I'm mentioning. So, obviously, if I said the word El Templo, the temple, you can find temples all over the world in many countries. Where would you most likely find a temple that you also know how to say in Spanish from what we've learned in Spanish 1 and Spanish 2? So what I chose for un templo, the answer would be La India. You're most likely to find temples in India. So not trying to stereotype, just trying to give the best possible examples that you're most likely to choose with countries that you know how to say or spell in Spanish. So for the first vocabulary game, number your paper from 1 to 10, and I will give you a noun, and you go ahead and write the country where you're most likely to find that item. Número 1, una mezquita. Una mezquita. Número 2, la pintura La Mona Lisa. La pintura La Mona Lisa. Número 3, las montañas Andes. Las montañas Andes. Número 4, las ruinas mayas. Las ruinas mayas. Número 5, una sinagoga. Una sinagoga. Número 6, un reloj famoso, el Ben Grande. Un reloj famoso, el Ben Grande. Número 7, el Cañón Grande. El Cañón Grande. Número 8, el Parque Güell. El Parque Güell. Número 9, un elefante. Un elefante. Y finalmente, número 10, los pirámides de Giza. Los pirámides de Giza. Okay, that was a quick activity. I know I went through those items pretty quickly. I will give you the answers here at the end, so you should have 10 countries written down. And don't worry, for some of them, there are a lot of options. I'm going to give the most obvious or one that I think that most of you will choose. So, número 1, una mezquita. You are very likely to find una mezquita in El Egipto. Of course, you can find them en los Estados Unidos y también Saudi Arabia y más países que están cerca del Mediterráneo. Número 2, la Mona Lisa, una pintura famosa. La Mona Lisa está en Francia, ¿sí? Está en París. Número 3, las montañas Andes. Okay, so this one has lots of options too. The Andes Mountains actually can be found in many countries in South America. You could have Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Chile, and La Argentina. So any one of those countries would work. If you didn't get it, that just reminds you to look over your geography lesson that we had before Christmas break, and that will jar your memory with that map that you guys made. Número 4, las ruinas mayas. This might make you think back to our culture lesson that we had about Frida y Diego. Remember that Diego was inspired by a lot of Mayan art, and you can find the Mayan ruins in Mexico. Número 5, una sinagoga. You could find a sinagoga in Israel, también Estados Unidos y otros países de Europa también. but the main one would be Israel. Número 6. El reloj famoso Ben Grande, Big Ben, se encuentra en Inglaterra. So that's a little bit hard to spell in Spanish, but if you guys got Inglaterra or something approaching it, that's what I was talking about there. The next one, El Cañón Grande está en los Estados Unidos. Remember, the abbreviation for that is not USA, it's AAUU or EEUU, los Estados Unidos. El Parque Güell. This is a really good test of your memory on our recent study of the architect that did all of his work in Barcelona. So you would find El Parque Güell in España. Number 9, un elefante. This one wasn't really fair. I just said muchos países de África. If you wrote Africa or some country in Africa, you are correct. You can actually find Asian elephants in Asia. So if you wrote Asia, correct. The last one, Los Pirámides de Giza, the Great Pyramids at Giza, you would find in Egipto. So just give yourself a score out of 10. So far we have finished our warm-up and our first vocabulary activity. The second vocabulary activity I have on my table, my kitchen table in front of me, and it is a memory game. So I want you to put down your pen and pencil, and I'm going to give you 1 minute to look at the items on this table. I'd like you to write down as many items as you can, and whenever you can, also write 1 or 2 adjectives that would describe the item. So if I had this item, for example, on the table, which I don't, es un celular negro, viejo y pequeño. Okay? Pero funciona. So that would be an example of that. On the table, 10 items, write the name of the item and 1 or 2 adjectives. You'll have 1 minute to do that.